I'm sure many of you remember that we were told the Russia-Ukraine war would end in 24 hours. Now, you probably would say, 24 hours from what? Well, first we were told it'll end within 24 hours of Trump being elected in November. Then we were told it'll end within 24 hours of Trump being inaugurated in January. Then we were told it's going to be 100 days. Well, we are now on day 107 of that promise. Actually, it's like 110, something like that, 111. And the latest sign that reality is catching up to the fantasy is that JD Vance, Trump's own surrogate, is now publicly saying, I think we might walk away from it. Now, last week or the week before, we heard from Secretary of State Marco Rubio say, listen, we're going to take like one more shot and we may just walk away without resolving this war. And now JD Vance is shrugging and kind of going, yeah, I don't know that we're going to get that peace deal. And we're getting close to walking away. Listen to this.
What would bother me is if we conclude that the Russians are not engaging in the negotiation in good faith. And if that happens, yeah, we're going to walk away. The president's going to say we're out of this thing. And what that's going to mean fundamentally, I think, is that both Russia and Ukraine are going to be left to settle this thing without the advice and without the mediation of the United States. I don't think that's good for anybody. I don't think it's good for us. I don't think it's good for Russia or Ukraine. But we can only lead these guys to the well. We can't force them to drink. And that's what the president has done. And I do think we've had some diplomatic breakthroughs. Again, the fact the Russians are offering a peace plan at all, that's a breakthrough. The fact the Ukrainians are offering a concrete proposal, that's a breakthrough. But we've got to try to get these sides a little bit closer together to achieve a lasting peace. We're not there yet. We'll keep working on it until we decide that we ultimately can't make any more progress.
Well, there you go. And of course, if you think, isn't this a huge shift? Of course. The entire foreign policy pitch for over a year was that the war between Russia and Ukraine exists because Trump wasn't in office. As soon as he gets back in, he's going to call this person, he'll call that person. It's all going to be wrapped up within 24 hours. It'll be wrapped up before Trump's turtle soup dinner or whatever he eats these days. He said it so many times with such confidence that some of his base started to believe it. They said it's going to be solved right away. And now the message is changing. Now it's, we tried, things are complicated, there's geopolitical realities, it's not entirely up to us. And of course, JD Vance is right. In this clip, just about everything JD Vance says is correct, but they should have been admitting this all along. Instead, they were gaslighting the American people. It's a hell of a pivot from we're going to negotiate world peace over the weekend and still have time to play golf. Trump was never going to end this within 24 hours. That was never real. It was always bluster. And his plan, if you can call it that, was cut Ukraine's funding, let Russia do whatever it wants. It sort of became intractable to take that approach. And it still remains the case that the only peace Trump can deliver quickly is for Ukraine to surrender and Putin to get whatever he wants. That wouldn't be diplomacy, that would be appeasement. And now, even Trump's own people are hinting, I think we're going to walk away. What are we going to be left with? It's yet another campaign promise that was never serious. A slow backpedal begins. The war continues. Real consequences for European security, for NATO credibility, authoritarian aggression worldwide. And this is what always happens with Trump's overpromise, underdeliver, and blame somebody else. You know, Joe Biden set us up to not do so well, and Zelensky is asking for things that don't make sense. It happens with infrastructure. It happens with tariffs. It happens with international diplomacy. You make the boldest claim possible, never deliver, and hope you can blame somebody else and that people will forget about the promise to begin with. He said 24 hours. Which 24 hours he meant changed, but he said 24 hours. And then he said 100 days. And here we are 110, 111 days later with no plan, no deal, and they are preparing to just walk away and say, we did all the right things. It was just, who could have guessed that it would have been so difficult? My question to you, when do you think they officially walk away? Or do you think more likely they just stop talking about it and say they're figuring it out? Let me know what you think. We've got a great bonus show for you today. We are going to see the first white South Africans go to the United States under Trump's refugee plan. What is going to be the reaction to that? Republicans are seeking more state laws on trans people, and it's wacky, but it's also putting Democrats on the spot. We'll see how Democrats are handling it. And then we also see significant increases in economic anxiety and Americans starting to delay purchases, exactly as one would expect in times of an unstable economic situation. And this is why, even if you cancel all the tariffs today, a lot of the damage is not going to be undone, certainly not quickly. All of those stories and more on today's bonus show. Make sure that you're on my newsletter. You can get on it by emailing info@davidpakman.com and saying, David, get me on that newsletter. And of course, make sure that you are a member. You can sign up at joinpakman.com, get the full daily commercial-free experience, and you will get instant extra access to the bonus show, on which we will discuss all of those stories and more. I'll see you then. And of course, I'll be back here tomorrow with a new show. After researching, writing, refining, The Echo Machine, my book, is finally out. This is not just a book about how American politics got so broken. It's also about what's happening right now and what we can still do to stop things from getting worse. Trump's been back in power. The results have been even more catastrophic than many feared, with targeting of political opponents and gutting democratic institutions, laying the groundwork to even further consolidate power. But the thing is that none of this is inevitable. The same forces that brought us here can be countered if we understand how they work and what to do about them. And that's what the Echo Machine is all about. Some say that without corporate media backing, books like this can't succeed. I think we can prove them wrong. You can get the Echo Machine right now at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, or by calling any local bookstore and asking them to order it. This book is more important than ever. If you care about what happens next, and I do, check out The Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo.